All right, welcome to Healthy Mindset Miracles. This is our episode on a carnivore diet. We have had a major life change in the way that we eat back in August of 2023. And I'm going to have Glenn tell you like the main reason why we decided to do this change in our diet was because of just health issues, things that Glenn was going through mainly. We believe that, us making this change had saved his life ultimately. For me, it was a lot of gut issues, a lot of challenges with my gut. Now, prior to this, we did try to do vegan and, eat appropriately. What we thought was appropriate were, just vegetables, fruits, and try to be healthy. Went the herbal route. We did a lot of that stuff, and we just still ended up with a lot of problems. In fact, I ended up with more problems than I had before. And we just couldn't figure it out. And of course, in our last podcast, you heard us say how we traveled a lot and we had gone to various different places. So when you're traveling, you really have to be careful about what you eat and where you eat because things are just different in various different places. They season their food different. They, culture their food differently. Things are just different. So anyways, hi.
Hey now.
And welcome.
Thanks for having me on this fabulous podcast.
This is your favorite subject, right?
Carnivore?
Talking about carnivore?
There's many favorite subjects. I couldn't say I have a favorite one, but my favorite one has always been eating meat. I wasn't never a vegetable buff in any sense of the word whatsoever.
You weren't. I was.
Yeah. But I fully agree with the different natures of the preparation of foods in different restaurants and being on vacation and traveling and such. Kind of let your guard down. Just kind of eat what's available, easiestly available in the moments here and there. Kind of also eat of the environment of what others are eating at the time too. But it can really get out of hand. I'd like to go on a cruise at some point, and I am going to soon. So I'm going to have really great discipline because my health is definitely more important. So she spoke of carnivore and that crossing our path at a certain point, and thankfully it did. My BP was 244 over 155. Most of the time it was around those numbers, and it wasn't coming down at all.
So what are you experiencing when it was really high like that? What were your symptoms, the things that you were going through?
So headaches, debilitating, less energy, much less, brain fog, major, blurry eyes, runny eyes, arthritis, tingling in my feet, more so having the back pain inflamed more so than now at all.
Your back and your neck?
Ever before.
Yeah. Yeah, your skin was swollen. How much did you weigh?
Up to 219, maybe a little more.
Yeah. Your eyes were always red. Your face was swollen. Your skin was red. You just had a lot of challenges, right?
Yeah.
And so, you did you like lose motivation at times where you just wanted to sleep during the day because you just didn't feel good?
For certain. Also because I felt that I needed to sleep off these ailments that were taking place, but really I needed to change what I consumed into my mouth is what I needed to change.
So you really weren't much of a sweet person, other than you liked chocolate, dark chocolate to be exact, but you didn't eat a whole lot of that. But you mainly liked like mashed potatoes, gravy,
chips, biscuits. Started drinking Coke again at one point, but that was just several weeks all at once, and then gave that up again. I already knew that wasn't the greatest way to go, having the great amount of intake of sugar and such. But yeah, I mean, I would just noodles, spaghettis, just anything that was easily accessible, even microwave dinners and things like that. Yeah.
So for me, it was my stomach issues. So my stomach would always hurt after I'd eat. I remember one time I had just ate pizza and we had come back home, and my stomach was hurting so bad, like the worst that you could possibly think of. And I remember laying across the bed, with my stomach across the bed, hoping that would relieve the pain that I was going through. And then I had passed the worst gas. And it probably shook the whole place. It was so bad. And it was just like, I was extremely gassy all the time. And for a lady, that's embarrassing. Like the first couple months we were together, I would not refuse to pass gas. We were together. I would hold it in, but then I finally, let it loose because you can't hold it in for so long. And it was just really, really bad. I would always just feel nauseous after I'd eat. I wouldn't go to the bathroom. And then when I would go to the bathroom, it wasn't pretty. And so it's just like, so many challenges like that. So back in August, some friends of ours had told us about Carnivore and told us, you might want to try doing that, because he was taking medication for the BP, trying to get it to come down. It wasn't working. It'd come down and then go right back up. And there's just always challenges. And it got to a point where it got very, very scary, right?
Yeah, and when you say medication, she's talking about herbal type stuff like turmeric and garlic and
you take an
amlodipine.
Amlodipine, yeah, that's a medication.
But I hadn't been prescribed that since 2020. So whatever I had was old as it was, and I might have taken one every once in a while, but really I don't trust that stuff because it leads to other things.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't going to at least feather, I guess I'm looking for a word, but feather the BP being off the charts with something synthetic or not, I knew I needed to get it under control with letting my food be my medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So we started, you started first. I didn't start it right away with you, but you started first doing Carnivore. So what does Carnivore consist of? For those of you that are listening, don't know what Carnivore is, what does Carnivore consist of? Like, what kind of foods is that?
Really, there's an acronym, BBBE, so bacon, beef, butter, eggs. So it really consists of animal product. So grease rather than oils. So the fat of animals, butter, cheese. Yeah, there's some ingredients.
What kind of butter though? Because there's different butters.
Butter, real butter. So if it has any type of oil in it, even like mayonnaise, if there's any type of oil in it, it's not considered carnivore. It's really easy to make one's own mayonnaise, but we won't get into that right now. But
we'll talk about that later, though. Actually, we'll talk about some of the recipes that you've been able to do lately because of this way of eating. But so real butters really consist of cream and salt.
Yeah, the cream
milk
line off of the top of raw unmolested milk. Yeah.
So for a while there, we were getting like Amish butter until you figured out recently how to make your own butter, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. So you started changing your diet where you were eating nothing but bacon, beef, eggs, butter. And these are things that you were really focusing on, just those meats, so that you can bring down the inflammation in your body. Because ultimately, the blood pressure challenges was because of the inflammation in your body. So as you started to go down this route of changing the way that you eat, what was your body going through? What kind of transitions were you seeing?
Well, my gut was changing for sure. Even my attitude, honestly. So those are great byproducts of doing so. So I'm no longer as frustrated. I started noticing that right away. The blood pressure started to come down. It's come down to being under, it's still above 140 over 120. It hasn't come below 140 over 120, but it's not high anymore.
Well, there was one point it was like 140 over 98, or
I don't, maybe. Yeah, actually 120, 20. Yeah, you're right. It was down there. Yeah, I'm getting the numbers mixed up. But yeah, 148 over 98, I think, was the lowest that I've had since starting Carnivore. But that's way better, much drastically better.
Yeah.
So
So
other benefits,
you've lost weight. How much weight have you lost?
I fluctuate between 175 and 178 now without really having or trying to lose weight. I eat 3 times a day, sometimes more.
Yeah. And so you have no more swelling in your body.
No.
You have, your eyes are clear now.
Yeah.
What about your mental capacity? Like, do you feel like you can think clearer now?
Definitely, without a doubt.
And retain information better?
Yep, I even can speak better. Yep, I can formulate my sentences better. It's crazy what you start to realize is out of control once you start getting things back into control.
So what do you think, and these last several months of doing carnivore, what do you think was the biggest benefit overall that you've noticed that you're excited about?
The energy, clarity. I mean, it all goes together. It couldn't be one whatsoever. The joints, the joint pain. I no longer have pain in my hands and in my feet. My back becomes sore every once in a while. I'll put a beating on that thing over the course of my life, and it would be frozen up several times in a year, and that hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah. So for me, I've lost about 25 pounds. I have no longer have gut issues at all. In fact, there's a lot of things that I wasn't able to tolerate before that I can tolerate now, which was actually beef. And so I can tolerate those things much better. One thing that I love about doing this is that eating butter by itself now has become like a candy to me. I really enjoy it, especially since he's figured out how to make it. We have figured out some various different recipes. So some of the recipes that you've learned how to do are carnivore pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And so a carnivore pizza, normally a pizza has a bread crust. What is the crust that you use on your carnivore pizza?
So you can take either ground beef or ground chicken, and put some egg in it and cheese, and then you just roll it out onto a pizza plate, and you cook it up until it's done or close to it. Take it out and then put your toppings on it and put it back in there, and it stays together just as well as a regular pizza crust. Yep.
And some of the other things that we have made are ice cream.
Yes. So that's just heavy whipping cream, and then one can put glycine in it and derived from animal, which is a sweetener. Some vanilla extract, and really, I mean, you can put butter in it and mix it in before it gets too cold. That way, it's current throughout or equal. Salt we'll put in it. We eat a lot of salt now, lots of it, and Celtic salt has been the main salt, but also proper Himalayan and Redmond salt as well. But you can pretty much put anything into your ice cream that you want. If you're going to go with fruits, still I would try to pick
berries.
Wild berries, whether they're blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries, would be something that I would choose, but not much else.
Yeah. And then recently, you have learned to make butter.
And yes. I've learned that it's best to let it come to the temperature of about 65 degrees, and it's with the cream line up on the top as you let milk settle, real unmolested milk. And then you just put it in the whipper for 20-25 minutes until you see the butter, and then you salt it, and then you drain out the buttermilk for use in something else, and then you just kind of piddle pat it around in your bowl there and rinse it off if you like, and then you put it in the fridge or on the side of the counter, and it's ready to go.
It's so good. He just made some today and he gave me a spoonful of it, and it was really, really good. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So we don't have to buy butter anymore. He knows how to make it now, which is really, really cool. So it's been amazing. Do you portion your food at all?
No, what's that? No, I buy large portions of beef and I slice it up and I put some in the coldest part of the fridge and some in the door, ready to cook. Really.
Some people say, oh, you're on a diet, so you got to portion how much you eat. Not on this. You can eat as much as you need to until you're full and satiated and happy. lions, they're out in the wilderness and they eat and eat and eat until they take a nap. And that's pretty much what we do, is we eat and eat and eat until we're ready to take a nap. And then there's days where you do fasting, and so in the beginning you did a lot of fasting just to help with the inflammation and stuff. Do you really think that was beneficial to you?
It's definitely beneficial, especially if you can get through, say, 2 to 3 days. Just drinking, I would prefer distilled water, or even recommend distilled water with salt in it, as a electrolyte. And or you can get trace minerals from a health food store. But again, I like the Celtic salt the most, and yes, it dissolves in there very well. And lemon is good for that too. It doesn't break the ketosis as well. And if you really can't make it to 3 days, then boiled eggs are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and 1 meal a day can be considered fasting too, because you can go the 22 hours while you sleep, you're fasting, right? And then you break fast when you eat something after that at any point and at any day. But 1 meal a day, OMAD, you can eat that 1 hour and then be fasting for 23, and it's super highly beneficial. There is some false research to that if one just uses Google, but there's many benefits to fasting. But before one begins to do that and then goes into carnivore as well, there's such a thing called priming, that kind of gets the body ready, because a lot of people, they don't eat even 3 meals a day. Most people I talk to don't eat even breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually necessary to prime the body with eating 3 regular meals a day for approximately 2-3 weeks tops, and then go into a carnivore way of eating and fasting. And also, if one eats lots of vegetables, it's not smart to just stop cold turkey, because there's such of a thing as called oxalate dumping, which are crystals that make up kidney stones and crystals in the joints and inflammation and stuff. And that stuff will come out anywhere. It can find its way out, even through your skin, as in acne and inflammation through the skin, through the head, through anywhere. I've seen all kinds of different cases. So kind of got to ease your way into it.
Yeah. So for me, I actually took my time and I never ended up having any of those oxalate dumping symptoms or challenges. With me, it was, oh my gosh, I haven't been able to go poop for, 5 days or, 6
Same.
days, something like that.
3 days. Really.
And I come to find out the reasoning for that is because your body, when you're giving it the nutrients that it needs, it's absorbing it from your food and you have less waste.
That's right.
And so I thought at first something was wrong until I was listening to Dr. Ken Berry, and he was explaining, your body has less waste now. So it's not going to want to go to the bathroom every single day. And it's so interesting because if I do have a day where I eat something that I'm not supposed to, like let's say it's a friend's birthday and I eat a piece of cake, the very next day I'm going, because my body is literally immediately eliminating that toxic waste and it wants to get rid of it. It's like, no, I don't like this. I don't want it. And it gets rid of it.
The taste buds sure like it in the moment.
Oh, I know. Unfortunately. But, we find creative ways to, help us with those sweets, cravings, things like that. Because when you first start out, it's so imperative that you focus on the healing of your body and the directions. Once you're healed, then you can have moments where you can have a slice of cake with your friend for their birthday or whatever.
Yeah, you can loosen up and reintroduce certain things.
Yeah, and just don't go overboard and don't make it a consistent thing like it used to be, which got you in a position in the first place. That's where a lot of those challenges are.
So for cravings, though, real quick, since we're on that subject of sweets, cream cheese, melted cheese. I like fried cheese. I'll throw it on the griddle and just cook it up and then eat it with a fork, just like that. Browning butter and then putting salt in it, extra salt, or even bacon bits into it. But there's creative ways to curb those cravings, and I've found also that if I take that moment that I am craving and I fill it with something that I know that's good for me, eventually that taste of that particular craving does subside.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just gotta really, it's mind over matter, right? Think about your mindset, directions that you're headed with it. Why are you doing this? You know, for him, it was saving his life. He, you know, it's hard to trust doctors nowadays. It's, you know, you definitely don't like pharmaceuticals. And so for him, he had to find a way to lower that blood pressure in a natural manner. Right now, it's still a little high. It's not perfect, but it's also been years and years of your body, you know, having an issue. And so it's going to take at least a couple years for it to fully get to a normal rate, right?
Yeah.
But it's 10,000 times better
Major.
than it was before, and you have a better quality of life. I feel like excuse me, I got a little puppy. Oops. A little puppy. It wanted to be up here.
Scared her.
I know it did. This is Ziggy,
and she's
carnivore. I was about to say. So she's 13 years old, and we started to feed our dogs natural chicken. You give them chicken and steak and eggs and different things in her food.
Yeah,
so she used to be, and you can see her, she's very little now, but she used to be very overweight.
She was like 11 pounds, and now she's 8 or something?
She used to be 9 pounds. She's now 7 pounds.
Okay.
And she used to be like having breathing problems, and she would have problems going to the bathroom. And she was just, there was days where I wasn't even sure she was going to make it much longer because she's older and because of the challenge. Now, it's been 6 months since we've put them on Carnivore, and she runs around here like she's a new puppy. She pounces and plays.
Bones and cartilage and bone marrow and eggs and some cheese, yogurt for the gut biome, and big grease and butter, and they eat all kinds of good stuff now, just nothing processed whatsoever. And a lot of times it's raw, especially the bones.
Yeah, and her, like, she used to, like, if you would pet her like this, she would try to bite your hand off.
She may do it in a minute anyway, so we'll see.
But she doesn't do that like she used to.
She
and
has a total different attitude.
Yeah, way different personality, way different attitude, and she's awesome. So yeah, so we just really focused on making some changes on our health, and you know, I believe it's really helped us in our marriage, you know, because we both have our like emotions and attitudes and things have changed dramatically.
There's a lot of benefits, even less trips to the store. We don't have as much stuff in our kitchen, in our fridge anymore. We don't have to take supplements.
No fruits and vegetables dying in my
everything
drawer anymore like I used to.
Everything is in the animal product that we actually need.
And every morning I'll drink what we call our salty lemonade. It's where I take a teaspoon of Celtic salt and half a lemonade squeezed into 32 ounces of water, and it's amazing. There was a company called Element, LMNT. They sell electrolytes, which is potassium and sodium packets, all different flavors. And we started out that way.
I recommend the unflavored because it doesn't have a sweetener in it.
Yeah. So, the other ones have sweeteners in it? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I do recommend unflavored anyways, because you can actually add lemon juice or lime or whatever, your own natural flavors to it. Like, even if, like, for me, it took me a while. I still eat berries. I love berries. I just don't eat as much as I used to. Like, I used to eat them constantly.
They go to waste. Like,
yeah.
Before you get to them now.
Yeah. So occasionally, like, we are fortunate enough where we have some wild berries around us. So we can go pick some wild berries and we can put those in our water. You know, so, and that's not carnivore, but, you know, again, we've gotten to a point where we can reintroduce some of these things back into our daily foods, and they don't harm us. But you have to make sure that they're natural, wild, not processed, not any chemicals that were sprayed on them. You know, we try not to buy any of that stuff from the store as far as the berries go or anything. We do buy our lemons and our limes from the store, but we go for the organic ones, just because that's just where our mindset is. But, you know, this is us. This is our decisions. We're not telling you guys you have to do this, but I will tell you, you know, if you have any questions about it, we'll be more than happy to help you.
Anytime at all.
Walk you through it, because it really has helped us tremendously. We're a part of a large group, several thousands and thousands of people who are coming into the ways of eating carnivore. There's Facebook page called Carnivore Tribe that we're in. I'm in a Carnivore for women, Carnivore for beginners. So there's several doctors that you started following on YouTube in the beginning of all this. Who are those doctors, and tell us a little bit about them?
You mentioned Dr. Kinberry.
Yeah, Dr.
He's
Kinberry.
over 20 years in the practice, and Dr.
He's a
Anthony
physician.
Chapey. Yeah.
Dr. Kinberry is a family physician.
You can find him on YouTube, and Dr. Anthony Chapey. He's in Australia. Very great guy.
So what kind of doctor is he?
I don't remember.
So Dr. Anthony Chapey is a brain doctor. He's a brain surgeon.
Right.
And
Moose.
And who else do you?
Steak and butter gal. So those are the three main that I check out. They pretty much cover everything. The amount of time that they've been at it. Steak and butter gal isn't a doctor by no means, but she is on it. She has a group. She does 30-day challenges. But her videos are wonderful, and she also does recipes and things as well. And her man is in on it with her, so it's a family household thing that they've got going on, and they are fantastic.
So how hard was it to get our 15-year-old daughter to start eating?
It really wasn't that hard, essentially, because of the influence of that we had as far as what she saw. And immediately her acne cleared up on her face. She gets, every once in a while, she gets something on her chin or maybe the forehead. And that's because she still enjoys her low carb tortillas and some Mexican spices and stuff like that.
Yeah. So is there anybody else in your family who has started in this direction? Sister,
dad, yeah, some other friends as well. Some great friends. One of them friends started doing comedy as well. I never thought that he'd be on stage doing comedy, but he's at it. And that's just, there's any moment one can begin something. It's never too late, and unless you don't start. And that goes for the way of eating, to control our diet, let our food be our medicine.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So with that, real quick, I've seen reversal of Alzheimer's and dementia, and the whole gamut of neurological challenges as well. Not to mention all of the inflammatory things that happen, and even
diabetes,
cartilage rebuilding problems on people's joints and things. I've come across so much, and I've reached out to these people and talked to them and read their comments, and there's so many testimonies in all of these comment sections too, on these videos of these great people that are sharing their way of eating in their life.
So I'm going to have a few of these people, or try to get a few of these people, to do a podcast interview to talk about their experience and how it's helped them. If you are going into any of these rooms to read about them, if you hit the search button, and you can search anything like diabetes, search heart disease, search kidney failure, search anything that you want to search, and you will see numerous people talking about how this has helped save them, how it's changed the way of their life. And they're actually teaching their own doctors, their own physicians, how this is saving people and helping people. So we're not doctors. We're just sharing our own personal experience of what we've been through and how this has changed our lives. And we thank you guys for watching.
Yes, you bet. Be well.
Have a good day.